This guitar amp sim plugin is evil! That's right, if you use this plugin, you're gonna go straight to hell. I mean, look what it did to this poor innocent mix! Wow, who would have thought that going to hell would sound so good? Damn, you know what? I've been playing with this thing for the last few days here, trying it out just on solo guitars and in mixes and whatnot. And yeah, I'm pretty freaking blown away. This, of course, is the new amp knob series. This is the BDH series from Bogren Digital. You guys have heard me rant and rave about the original amp knob, which was like their rectifier clone. Well, they did the same thing to 3 different variations on the venerable 5150 amp. We've got the 666 model here because that's twice as fun as 333, that's for sure. But the other models here are the BDH. This is like the block letter 5150 clone. And then the modern. Now, spoiler alert, a lot of what these guitar amp sims sound like all comes down to the impulse response, the digital capture of the speaker. It's kind of a running theme on this show. It's like, hey, the more and more I dive into this, it's more and more all about the speaker. I'm going to show you what that's all about in a couple of minutes, but I thought I'd give you a rundown of what we got right here. Now, this one really has the Christians upset because of the goat head logo and the 666 and the upside down cross. Oh, no, the power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. It's okay, guys, seriously. This is about as dangerous as the Easter Bunny. It's not going to hurt anyone. It's a cartoon. That's it. But it does sound pretty fucking wicked, I'll be honest. Okay, fucked up one spot there, but you get the point. It's better in a hellhole. All right, seriously, that one's an awful lot of fun. And this is the great thing I love about the Bogren amp knob series is because they're designed to just work. You plug them in, you turn the fucking knob. Like, seriously. Guitar players, I know you love to fuck up the most basic thing and do really stupid shit, like pay $6,000 for an overdrive pedal. And then drive the market up on the bad monkey because somebody shut out and goes, oh, well, hey, you know what? There's not big of a difference here. Yes, that's because you should be concerned about speakers. Anyway, so turn the fucking knob, get some distortion, turn it on, play. Oh, hang on. This is a 666 model. Let's make sure I've got the right notes playing. Yeah, is that evil enough? Awesome, great, glad you liked it too. All right, seriously, that's it. There's like a little pedal control, so if you want to put an overdrive in front of it or a virtual overdrive, you can do that. Like you would any normal 5150 in the studio. The great thing is they've got a mix-ready cab sim on it, so you can just throw it into a mix and it's going to sound great. But a lot of guys were asking for some tweakability with the original amp knob, so they've given you the ability to turn it off. And I'm going to show you guys what that's all about in just a minute. I'm going to turn this one off though, because I'm going to come back to this in a sec. Okay, so that was the 66. Here's the block letter BDH. See what we get here. Okay, shit. I've just remembered that, and it's like, okay, I made it through once. I'm not going to try playing it twice, because I'll probably fuck it up. Anyway, I was like, hey, I learned that riff a few months back. Why haven't I played it since? Yeah, Yeah, that's seriously cool. And, you know, if you have the original 5150s or something like that, like say the 6505 combo, you know, the preamps are dialed in just a slightly different aggression level than say the signature 5150s. So yeah, there is a bit of a different change there. Obviously, you know, we're using a different impulse here as well, but... And so it's going to have a very different sound. But again, this is all mix ready stuff. So you can just drop it in your mix and rock the fuck out. And you're going to love the results you get. Once again, guys, real simple here. All you got to do is turn the knob. That's it. And it sounds good. Can't make it any simpler than that. But even with this level of simplicity, I've had some mixes come in on Monday mornings and you guys have still managed to fuck it up, like turning the impulse off or something like that. Oh, it sounds great. No, turn the fucking impulse on. That's what makes it sound good. Seriously, guys, it's just the little cap button here. All you gotta do is make sure it's on. I'm turning this off though, because we're gonna come back to this in a sec. And here we've got the BDH3 as well. Yeah, and it's just absolutely fine too. Either one of any of these three is going to be great in a mix. So if you've got hang-ups about cartoon goat heads, you know, use one of these instead because you can buy these individually. Now, the price of admission here for all three is 79 euros, or you can get a single one for 39 euros. That's about 49 bucks US, give or take a few bucks. Either one's going to work in your mix. There's going to be no issues whatsoever there because it's just basically set, forget. And worry about more important things like writing a good fucking song. And by that, I don't mean your 9-minute 5/8 gent epic that nobody gives a fuck about with no vocals. Yeah, the world certainly needs more of those. Now this works fine for rhythm or lead as well. Yeah, absolutely fine. Throw a little delay on it and Bob's your uncle. You're all set. You're all good to go. Now, I'm going to pull up Spectre Digital's brand new IR loader, PRISM, and I'm going to run all three different amp models through the same impulse response, my custom V30s that I've put out for free there a few months ago, and show you guys just how little the amp head actually matters, especially in a context like this. So here's all three back to back, the 666, the BDH, and the BDH3, all using the same custom impulse response. Now that one, once again, that's using my own custom IRs, and it just goes to show that all three different versions of the amp are all variations on a theme, and once you use the same digital speaker, as it were, it's all pretty similar variations. Like they're just tiny differences. Is it that significant to you? That's ultimately up to you, not to me, whether or not you think that's necessary or not. Personally, I like having a little bit bigger palette, but that's just me. Once again, 40 bucks for a single amp sim that's going to sound good, despite your best efforts to fuck it up in a mix. I think that's a pretty damn good deal. And to explain a little bit further about just how well this works in a mix, check this out. Wow, man, Going to Hell never sounded so good. Seriously, I just love how that dropped in and worked with all my other instruments. And again, it just completely takes the guesswork out. Now, I'm not saying everybody should go get this thing because, yes, sounding like everybody else is a major issue. That's for sure. And the problem is nobody seems to want to branch out from the 5150 vintage sturdy thing. And it's kind of been done to death. So my advice would be, if you're a beginner, absolutely grab this. If you don't know how to record a great metal tone, get this. It's going to sound great. And more importantly, it's going to show you what sounds great in a mix. And this is the thing, Bogren makes some great impulses, and this will allow you to work with said impulses. In fact, we've got them on here on the PRISM platform right now. I've got two of the rhythm tones blended together, and we're getting something pretty cool, I think. Now, disclosure being what it is, yes, Bogren is paying me for this video, only because I did that video on the Amp Knob original. I did that as a Fearless Gear review, self-funded, and I was really blown away by it. And they're like, hey, we got this new one coming out. You want to check it out? I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. I think Bogren makes some amazing amp sims. I think they make great cabinet impulses as well, and that's why we're going to be carrying them on the PRISM platform on Spectre Digital. By the way, PRISM is going to be available as a very limited public beta release for the next couple weeks. We're looking for 100 people to help us test it. If that interests you, please follow the link in the description below. It's absolutely free, and we'd really appreciate the help. But my opinion here, even though it's a sponsored video, I think this thing is great. I think this offers the new user, especially if you don't know how to dial an amp in, a great perspective on what you should be looking for. Hell, I'm still cross-referencing my mixes with this. I'm like, okay, do I got too much bottom end in my guitar or too much top end? I'll pull up one of the Jens plugins and check it out because it sounds so fucking good. At least it helps me get into the ballpark. Now, as for the whole 666 logo and the cartoon goat head, I'm going to be honest here. I like the sound of it, and I could care less about that shit because I know it's not real. I don't live my life according to fairy tales. However, Bogren did get a bit of blowback with this one, and I've got some comments for you right here.
I'm good. I'm not cursing my music with a satanic plugin.
Do you know what kind of music is cursed? The best kind. The band that started all this metal stuff wasn't White Sabbath. Look, there is far too much boring and safe music in the world already. Take it outside, God boy.
I don't do anything with satanic symbolism. Cringe as fuck.
So the guy with the giant boobs in his logo thinks this is cringe as fuck. I'm sure Jesus would completely approve of his statement. Gotta love Christians for never once being hypocrites.
Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivers from death.
I gotta call bullshit on that statement. I have dropped many a hard-earned dollar on plenty of CDs full of absolutely wicked guitar solos. And yes, they were righteous.
I probably would have snagged it, but the 6606's name and goat head with the pentagram is a deal breaker for me.
Now, I do agree. Bogren might want to do a bit of a rethink when it comes to the goat heads logo. And if they truly want to avoid offending the Christians out there, I'd recommend that they go with a torture device. Because let's be real here. Torture is Christianity's logo. So I did a little bit of digging and I came up with some suggestions for a new graphic for Bogren's amp sim. We could go with the rack because that looks uncomfortable as fuck, or we could go with the Iron Maiden because, hey, let's face it, that's on brand too. Or, you know, we could always go with Christianity's latest torture invention, and that's the Canadian residential school. Shh, don't bring that up. That really happened. Look, if the weak-minded out there are getting scared off by a cartoon goat head, I don't know how the hell they will deal with an actual atrocity like that. Oh, who the fuck am I kidding? They just bury their heads in the sand and pretend it never happened. Bottom line, this is an amazing sounding amp sim that works in your mixes. It's an absolute no-brainer. And the cartoon goat head is about as dangerous as Santa Claus. Seriously, you self-righteous fucks, get over it. If you're worried about evil, you're not gonna find it in this amp sim. I would suggest that you start by looking at those that claim authority over their fellow man and look at the horribly unspeakable acts that they've committed in the name of their phony, bullshit, and completely made up God.